On this episode, AEW Rampage are now in the semifinals for the AEW World Title Eliminator. We even got part 3 in the epic matches between Matt Sydal and Dante Martin, and also a trick or treat match, which is a no disqualification match between Dr. Britt Baker in a non-title match against Abadon. We also got 3 matches by 205 Live and also 2 events by Dragon Gate on the same tour but different dates, and also some news updates regarding ROH ever since they announced that they're releasing the wrestlers from their contracts, and of course, some releases coming from MLW. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So let's begin with AEW Rampage with the semi-final round in the AEW World Title Eliminator. We got Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. This match was unbelievably awesome. I have to say, it showed a fighting spirit with Eddie Kingston because Daniel Bryanson did say he doesn't do anything, but I guess in this case it did fell for it. But however, it yet to expect it. As you know, we know that Daniel Bryanson wants to challenge for the AEW World Title. How we imagine, so does Eddie Kingston. But however, it's the American Dragon who pulled it off completely when he put him in the Triangle Lancer, and of course, Eddie Kingston did not tap out. He passed out. Referee called the match in favoritism to Daniel Bryanson while Eddie Kingston flipped him off. But however, CM Punk was in an interview until he was brutally interrupted by Eddie Kingston. Now, this is going to be an interesting match. If we do see Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk, that's something we definitely cannot miss, one way or the other. Now we got the epic 3-part between Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. Now these guys have been back and forth before in the past. Now that Dante has Lio Rush on his side. Now basically, Lio Rush believes in Dante Martin, but I have to say it was a pretty good match to watch. It showed Dante Martin is determined to prove that he can raise up to the bar, and that's exactly what he's doing. He won the match surprisingly. Now our last match is the trick or treat match, and it's sort of like a no disqualification between Britt Baker and Abadon. Now, however, there were the best moments that I enjoyed in this match. Britt Baker is afraid of something, and you guys probably would have guessed what it was. Abadon goes outside the ring and brings out a bag full of thumbtacks. Everybody remembers what happened the last time she got herself involved in thumbtacks in that epic match between her and Thunder Rosa. That brought her nightmare to life. However, when she had Abadon in the lockjaw, she was a bit hesitant to put her fingers in the jaw. Now, you probably ask yourselves, why is that? Think about it. She had no problem doing it. But when it comes to Abadon, what if she bites her? She was like thinking of doing it, but at the same time. And I think that is a great moment because it showed Abadon, she's the living dead girl. And I think it played out well, but however, Britt Baker was able to pick up a great victory and she hightailed out of there the moment she realized she won the match. But do we think this could be over between Abadon and Britt Baker? Well, only time will tell. So we'll see what happens next. Okay, as you know, 205 Live, well, they continue to showcase more wrestlers. They're not even on televised, but I enjoy it, despite the fact it's not a 205 Live thing, but I like it. The first match we have Boa along with Mi Yang taking on Jeet Rama. Now this was a very good match to enjoy because, as you know, Jeet Rama is a amateur wrestler. Boa has a martial arts background, and it kind of fits in. But however, you can tell by the look of Boa, who is determined to prove how dominant he can be. He actually pulled it off when he put him in a submission move and forced Jeet Rama to tap out. So all wrestlers should be afraid of Boa. Our next match, we have the Warrior of the Sun, Saray, taking on Katrina Cortez. I'm a fan of Saray. I think she's amazing. Katrina Cortez, I'm still trying to get a reading on her, but however, as you know, Saray is the much better wrestler, and she also picked up a really good victory. This next match, the final match, is Zion Quinn taking on Ru Feng. I have to say it was pretty good, but however, when I look at Zion Quinn, he is a much like a breed of animal that you cannot even stop, and I think that's what I like about him. But he was the victorious one in this match, and I think it's pretty good. And I wish they could put more stuff like this, but make it more hype. But right now, I'll take what they got right now, and I'll enjoy these matches when for whatever reason. As you know, there's been talk about this, but 205 Live, but that's another conversation for another time. So right now, let's move on from here all the way to Dragon Gate. All right, since I this is a review from a past event by Dragon Gate, the Gate of Passion. This took place on the 9th of April. This was day 3. Now, I want to apologize to people. I did not see day 1 and 2. Some of the days that they were unable to put on Watch Pro Wrestling. I don't know why they didn't put all of them like I normally see with either New Japan or Pro Wrestling Noah. But for whatever reason, they decided just show some important parts. I don't know if that's the case. But right now, let's go with the opening match. We have Natural Vibes UT and Suzumu Yokosuka taking on Masquerade, Jason Lee, and Shun Skywalker. Now, there was no story build up in this one. In this whatsoever, I felt it was an okay, decent match, but it did show okay, UT is willing, not only like one of the newer members they recruited in Natural Vibes, but he is determined to prove his worth to be a valuable wrestler to show them that he can be part of a winning team. And that's exactly what he did. And he did his part very well. And that's what allowed him to win the match for his team. Next up, we got Team Boku, Punch Tominaga, and Ryo Saito taking on Kenichiro Aria and Ultimo Dragon. Now, this is more of the interesting match where Team Boku, right now, they're more concerned over their teammate Boku Timo Dragon, who is set to be in the match later on. But however, I think the biggest upset is somehow Punch Tominaga put the veteran Kenichiro Iri out when he put him in a very amazing submission and forced him to tap out, which was very interesting. Next up, we got RED, Kazuma Sakamoto, Kaito Ishida, Hayon, and BB Hulk taking on Don Fujita, Gamma, Takashi Yoshida, and Masaaki Mochizuki. Now, not much story was built up in this one, but however, I think they were showing us something they wanted to build up for it. As you know, Yoshida and Mochizuki were at the time the Twin Gate champions, which is the tag team titles. But however, because they already won as being the cheaters that they are, Kaito Ishida along with Kazuma Sakamoto challenged Yoshida, and Mochizuki for a shot of the Twin Gates titles, which is something that we definitely know is probably going to take place. Next up, we got Natural Vibes, Genki Origuchi and KZ teaming up with Dance Hashimoto, who is in fact Gagatora, taking on high-end Ben K, Kosuke Okuda, and Yasushi Kanda. Now, as you may or may not have been aware, um, Kagetora and Kanda, they're currently not involved in any factions. They look like other factions are looking to recruit, and I wasn't sure what to make of thing with uh, Dance Hashimoto, but however, he was very impressive when he submitted. I think he put Kanda in a submission, forcing him to tap out, and I think I don't know if Natural Vibes were considering recruit him, but we'll see where that's gonna go. Now our next match is a mask versus mask match. Bokutimo Dragon versus Diamante. Now, Diamante originally, from my understanding from what the English commentator saying, that Diamante wanted to be the one to demask Ultimo Dragon, but however, he decided to change his mind, go for the weakest link, Bokutimo. But you can guess that RED, we're going to help Diamante to ensure he wins, and that's exactly what we did. It was a disappointing loss for Bokutimo to lose to him. He was a bit hesitant to take off the mask, but however, RD doesn't give a damn about tradition. You know, when you lose a mask, you're a bit hesitant. You know that this was your livelihood that will be taken from you. They don't care about that. They just want you to take off the mask. But however, Natural Vibes were there to give him the helping hand. Of course, KZ, who respects tradition, told him, give him time. Let him have his moment. But of course, RAD, who don't like it, they decided to do it since they don't want to begin a war with Natural Vibes. Bokutimo took off his mask, but however, RED, we all know who is Bokutimo Dragon, is of course Big R Shizumo, once-time member of RED. He has been humiliated by RED many times over since he was kicked out, and he had different names. They believe now they got him good. But however, this is just only the beginning. Now, our final match on this particular day, we have high-end Dragon Kid Yamato along with Nuriko Doi taking on ROED's SB Kento, Kai, and Eita. Now, originally this match ended in a double countout, but however, apparently SB Kento and Kai are trying to ensure this match makes Yamato and Dragon Kid worn out because they're going to be in Dead or Alive 2021, which is a unique match. But however, they restarted the match, but it was Nuriko Doi who picked up the victory for his team. But now we're seeing a bit of a fight between both both Kai and SB Kento, because here's how it's going to go. In Dead or Alive, Kai is going to team up with the one person he hates, Yamato. SB Kento to the one person he hates, Dragon Kid. But here's the thing. Winning team will be in a steel. The losing team will end up in a, I don't know if it's the losing team. Yeah, losing team will be in a steel cage match. So basically, if Yamato and Kai loses the match, they will be in a steel cage. Both their hairs will be on the line. But if SB Kento and Dragon Kid loses, they will be in a mask versus hair match in a steel cage. That is something I'm looking forward to seeing. So let's move on with day number 9. Okay, so we're in day 9 of Dragon Gate's Gate of the Passion. This took place on the 18th of April. This was part of a two show 1 day event. This was part of the evening show. Opening match, we have Natural Vibes, Genki Origuchi, Suzumu Yokizuka, and KZ taking on Masquerade, Jason Lee, Kota Minoura, and Shun Skywalker. However, there is no build-up and story with this match. It was pretty good, but however, it was Kota Minoura who picked up the victory when he pinned Suzumu in the match, and this was a big upset that no one expected, but it did. Next up, we have Punch Tominaga taking on UT. What a hellacious match! I think it was pretty good. I think that everything these two guys not pulling punches, trying to determine who's going to win was amazing. But however, the match ended in a time limit draw, which is the one thing you don't want, but they exceeded their 15 minutes of the match. Next up, we got high-end Benkei and Dragon Kid taking on Ryu Sato and Ultimo Dragon. This was also a pretty good match because, as you know, uh, Dragon Kid was once is a student of Ultimo Dragon, but it played out pretty well in this particular match. It was Benkei who picked up the victory when he pinned Ryo Sato for the victory. Next up, we got RED, Diamante, Kato Ishida, Kaza Sakamoto, and BB Hulk taking on Ho-Ho Lun, Takashi Yoshida, Masaaki Mochizuki, and Bokutimo Dragon, who is still wearing the mask even though it didn't happen. However, like I said before, as Ishida and Kaza Sakamoto decided to challenge for the Twin Gates Championship that Yoshida and Mochizuki had in their possession, and it kind of played out pretty well. It was in fact RED that picked up the victory on this match. Next up, we got Gamma and Narikudoi taking RED, Kai, and SB Kento. Now, you would have assumed that this match was going to fall in favor of RED because they like to cheat their way through, but however, now it's becoming clear that SB Kento is looking out for himself since they're getting closer and closer to Dead or Alive 2021. Instead, he whacked Kai to send him a message, allowing for the opposing team, Gamma and Norikudoi, to win the match, and that is kind of insane. Now, our next match, we have Kagetora teaming with high-end Kosuke Okuda and Yamato taking on ROED, Hip Hop Kukita, Hayone, and Eita. It was a pretty good match, and I did feel like maybe Kagetora fit in with high-end, because currently he's not in any faction, but I have to say it was pretty good. I think I enjoyed it. However, it was Kagetora to pick up the victory for his team, and I think it played out pretty well, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. So that's pretty much it that's going to take place. But however, during the promo, Yamato knows what's at stake coming up in Dead or Alive, but we are probably going to see something very good. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's go with some news updates. Okay, as you know, I mentioned before, ROH are releasing their talent from their contracts. There's Fightful Select reported not 2 days ago that, of course, ROH are selling their entire library of video archive to the highest bidder. Now, the real question is, who will be that highest bidder? Now, there's two companies that I felt that they had the opportunity. That is AEW and WWE. Now, I know for some of you WWE loyalists, you were saying this would benefit them. I would agree, but however, as you know, recent times, they're not looking for wrestlers they can put that remind them of the past. Like, if you guys know this, Kevin Owens was part of that promotion, so was Seth Rollins, and that kind of, they don't want that past associated with them. But I did hear that AEW are interested of buying the entire library of their video archive, which is really, really good to watch. Now, however, recently, coming from the MLW news, MLW just announced, this was reported by Dave Meltzer at the Wrestling Observer, where 2 wrestlers have been released recently on separate days. First one was Jordan Oliver and Mance Warner. Now, it's still unclear if their contract expires or what, but we do know these two individuals have been involved with, of course, with GCW. Now, I did hear last year or 2 years ago that AEW were interested in Matt Warner, but we'll see what happens then. I mean, I like Matt Warner. He's very cool, and I think I would like to see more of the Southern Psycho at AEW maybe in the future, or we'll see what happens in the future with these two guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode of me reviewing everything. The next episode is going to be something special. Um, Not a whole lot is going to be taking place like any new pay-per-views. Well, they are, but I don't think they're going to be that important. Maybe reviewed some other times. But however, the entire episode will be featuring mostly Japanese promotions. One is definitely going to be Choco Pro, which is one match only show, which is for the Asia Dream Tag Team titles between the Ectarts and the champions, the Best Bros. And of course, I will be doing other ones that I will be knowing. There's a freelance show, the Sakurai Irora, the 25th anniversary show that took place on the 10th of October. We got Pro Wrestling Freedoms for the 12th anniversary that took place early in October for the 3rd. We even got All Japan Pro Wrestling for the final of the Royal Road Tournament 2021. And then finally, World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana that took place back in June. So I'm excited to review everything that is all Japanese because I'm a big fan of that. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day.